Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Joe's Place. Today we're at Harrington Memorial Hospital, and we're visiting the cardiac lab, and we're going to talk to Dr. John Tumolo and the nurses, Judy Flannery and Paulette Remian. So let's go inside and talk to the folks. Well, here we are at Harrington Memorial Hospital's cardiac lab, and today we're talking with Judy Flannery and Paulette Remian. And these are the ladies who operate the cardiac rehab program here at Harrington Memorial Hospital. And we're here for a special reason, because we're going to be talking about a free heart attack awareness program that's being started up by Harrington. And Judy, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about the program?
Sure, Joe. We're doing this program. It's called Heart Attack Take Action. That we're offering to the community and to community programs to increase people's awareness of heart attacks and the signs and symptoms. It was a program that was developed by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute in Washington, and it was used in Worcester for several years. And we felt it was important that we started getting the message out in this area for our people and the people in our community.
Paulette, tell us a little bit about the program and how people can get involved in case they're interested.
Sure. We've already started tapping into the community and giving this important message. I've given this past month at the AARP in Southbridge with a large audience. There was also an effort at our YMCA for our community group. A couple coming up certainly are the Knights of Columbus in Southbridge have invited us, along with the Sturbridge Lions Club. We certainly like to get where groups are already, and we'll continue to do that. We've sent out some messages and press releases to other civic groups, but certainly anybody individually can give us a call, and any other groups, church groups, civics groups, or anywhere where people get together can certainly tap into this. A very, very important message.
Okay, now Judy, how does anyone go about signing up for the program? Can they call the...
Sure, they can call Cardiac Rehab at Harrington Hospital, 508-765-9771, and our extension is 2695. We'd be happy to see if their group would like a program or plug them into a program that we have coming up in the near future.
I think
Okay, and the phones are ringing now.
Yeah, I think so. The phones are ringing now.
Okay, well, thank you very much, ladies. And in just a moment, we're going to talk to Dr. John Tumolo, and then we're going to present the video to you. So please stand by.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
We're talking with Dr. John Tumolo today. He is the director of the Heart Station here at Harrington Memorial Hospital. And Dr. Tumolo, nice to have you with us. And let's talk a little bit today about heart attack awareness and some of the things that a person should do if they see any signs coming along.
This is a very important program. We'd like to introduce the public to a videotape and a very good effort that's been made to increase public awareness for some of the early signs of a heart attack. And one of the important points that we'd like to make is not to delay in your presentation and come in to get checked. Heart attack symptoms can be very different from one individual to another. In some people it may be a typical chest pain, but in other people it might be more of a nausea, sickness to your stomach, shortness of breath, arm, shoulder, or jaw pain. It can be very misleading. So what we're trying to do is try to increase awareness that symptoms might differ from one person to another. They really come to our attention early. The earlier the presentation, the better the survival and better the outcome of treatment for heart attacks. This effort we're trying to do is try to improve the awareness of the community by bringing this movie not only to the cable TV access, but also to a number of programs that we've already mentioned locally.
And the programs have been very popular so far. I understand that
Yes,
the nurses have been going out into the field and talking to organizations.
Really bringing the news around, yes.
John, this is called It's About Time. Tell us a little bit about the video that we are going to see in just a few minutes.
It's actually an excellent movie, very well done. It's about people who have experienced this problem, and will bring you through some of the typical symptoms. It'll show you some of the realistic settings that you might see with the heart attack and type of symptomatology and type of treatment we might provide. I think it's an excellent way of having people clue in more to some of the unusual presentations and some of the importance of coming in promptly.
Okay, so we're going to watch the video now. We want to thank Dr. Tumolo.
Thank you.
Also, we want to thank Judy Flannery and Paulette Remian for joining us today. And let's go and take a look at It's About Time.
After you've watched the video, if you have any questions, please feel free to talk to your doctor Also, you could call Paulette and I at Cardiac Rehab at 508-765-9771. Our extension is 2695. We'd be very happy to plug you into some classes we have or send you some literature. And use any of the resources because I think you need to get more information if you have questions at the end. Dr. Tumolo, you wanted to say something about?
A couple points to stress in terms of the early presentation and evaluation is that many of our efforts right now are most successful when people come in very promptly. As a matter of fact, the longer one waits, there's a lower success of the treatment, and especially some of the newer treatments work much better when people come in the first 1 or 2 hours. The average national presentation for evaluation for a heart attack is currently at 2 hours, and we'd really like to see that a lot shorter. We're working on time for treatment in a hospital setting to try to bring that well within 30 minutes. And our hope is to bring treatment to within 1 hour, ideally. Many of our new technologies are very successful in opening up these blocked arteries, but very important measures such as giving an aspirin can give almost as much benefit as some of this life-preserving medication that you might be reading and hearing about. So it's very important for a number of reasons to come in very, very quickly for evaluation.
I'd also plug our 911 system. We have wonderful service in our tri-community area. So calling 911 will bring the hospital to your door, as the video does mention several times. So go ahead and do that if you think at any time yourself or anybody in your family might be having a heart attack. Just simply dial 911 and you'll get that service.
One other thing I'd like to mention, I think there's one area of confusion in the setting of managed care, is what you should do if you have an emergency. Should you take the time to call? Should you wait for a call back when it might be a while? And I'd like to say, if you sense that this is a medical emergency, you should come in promptly. All the plans should cover that type of situation. If there's another family member or another friend who can put a phone call in, that's fine, but you should not hesitate while you're waiting for a phone call to come back. You should really treat this as a medical emergency and come in right away.
I think Paulette's 911 is important too because they can help you, direct you too. And don't be embarrassed that you're going to come into the emergency room and be sent home. We'd rather you come in and find out it's not a problem than stay at home and run into big trouble at home. It's really important you come here and be evaluated.
Welcome. As you may have guessed, we're here to talk about time. The time it takes to save someone's life. It could be a loved one's life, a friend's life, a co-worker's life. It could be your life.
We're here for one simple reason. Because last year, hundreds of thousands of heart attack victims died unnecessarily. Men and women just like you who would be alive today if only they had received medical help in time.
You're looking here at the lucky ones. All these people are heart attack survivors. What do they have in common? They made the call for help fast. Today we have new treatments that can stop a heart attack in its tracks. Yes, actually stop a heart attack. But as these folks know firsthand, the greatest benefit from these treatments comes in the first hour after the heart attack begins. That's why acting fast to make that call for help is the single most important thing you can do for heart attack survival.
Now, you may think you'll never need this information. None of the people you just saw thought they'd ever need it. That's because no one plans on having a heart attack. But think of it this way. Being prepared, just in case, is like planning how you'd get out of your home in case of a fire. It's just plain smart.
And keep in mind, the information you're about to learn in the next few minutes could save the life of someone you love, or even your own life. Pretty good investment of time, right? First, we'd like to ask all of you to look at your watches and note the time it is right now. You'll find out why later.
Okay, now I'd like you to try imagining what a heart attack would be like. Are you picturing it? Is it something like this, maybe?
Or perhaps like this.
However, I must also say that I'm quite happy to be upstaged by this woman for the rest of my life.
Or this.
Your Honor,
If the drop-dead type of heart attack is what you imagine, well, you're like most people. But that's the Hollywood heart attack. And while a few heart attacks are like that, most are not. Listen to the true stories of some people who know firsthand what a heart attack is really like.
It just started out as real bad pain, and I thought it was indigestion. And I walked the floor from about 1:30 till 10 minutes after 8, thinking, well, if it's indigestion, it should have been gone away.
I woke up feeling rather, I don't know, loggy, tight. Seemed like something was pressing on my chest a little. Not what I would call pain.
Mine started out really slow and was nothing to get too excited about, yet I knew it was different than anything I'd ever had before.
I didn't think this is what a heart attack would be like. I didn't think it would just be shortness of breath.
Kind of almost like a flu feeling. Then we finished dinner, went home, did the normal things around the house. Later in the evening, then I started having a sensation in my left arm.
Notice some differences? First, a real heart attack is usually a gradual process, beginning quietly with mild symptoms that may even come and go. You may not be at all sure what's happening.
Heart attacks vary in levels of intensity and in types of symptoms. Even someone's second heart attack may be very different from the first.
And perhaps most important, thanks to clot-busting drugs and surgical treatments that weren't available just a few years ago, you can survive a heart attack.
Once a heart attack begins, minutes mean muscle. The more time that passes, the more damage to the heart muscle. A heart attack occurs when a blood clot blocks an artery and prevents blood from flowing to the heart muscle. Now, starved for oxygen, the muscle begins to die minute by minute by minute. But it doesn't have to happen that way. Emergency treatments, including clot-busting drugs, can quickly restore blood flow to the heart muscle. The benefit from these treatments is the greatest during the first hour after the start of a heart attack.
The rule here is the sooner the better. The sooner treatment begins, the better your chances are for returning to a normal, healthy life. Once a heart attack begins, every single minute counts, but most people wait several hours before they call for help. Why? Who could answer that question better than someone who's been there?
And it was just complete denial. I did not want to accept the fact that there was something wrong with me, because I keep thinking of heart problems. You're out of work for a long time. It messes up your schedule.
And he wanted to take me right on to the emergency room then. And I told him, I said, no, well, I just wait until tomorrow. I got an appointment in the morning with the doctor, and I let him know then.
It's not wanting to bother people, not wanting to look foolish. God forbid I should wake the neighbors at 2 in the morning with an ambulance roaring up to the driveway.
I kept thinking, well, it'll pass because it's just indigestion or the arthritis is acting up.
Well, I really thought a heart attack would be so definite that there would be no question. And I kept thinking, you know, I do not want to go to the hospital and be told I've got gas. You know, if I'm going to have to go to the hospital, then please let it be a heart attack, you know, don't make a fool of myself here.
As you can see, people delay getting help for all kinds of reasons. For one thing, a heart attack is a lot harder to diagnose than, say, a sprained ankle. The people involved almost always are uncertain about what's happening. They're reluctant to call 911 when they're not sure, or they don't want to make a big fuss and take the chance of feeling a little embarrassed. So
they say, let's wait and see. And while they wait, heart muscle is dying.
So what's the answer? Here's advice from some folks who have learned from the School of Experience.
If I were to say anything to a spouse that is going through this, it would be that not to listen to the person that's experiencing the situation, but to just use your own wisdom and to call 911 without hesitation.
Don't, regardless of how slight it is or whatever, do not just push it over to the side. And like they say, it might not be nothing but a bad case of heartburn or whatever, but you need to get it checked out. You really do.
My advice is to call 911 immediately. It's much better to feel a little bit foolish than a lot dead.
Okay, let's talk about you for a minute. What are your chances of needing this information? Well, here's a quick test that can give you an idea of where you stand as far as heart attack risk.
Answer yes or no to these 9 questions and keep track of how many times you answer yes. First, is there a history of heart disease or early heart attacks, say, before age 55 or 60 in your family? Has your doctor said you have high blood cholesterol?
Do you smoke cigarettes? Has your doctor said you have high blood pressure? Are you inactive?
Are you very overweight? Do you have diabetes? Are you a woman past menopause? And finally, has your doctor told you that you have angina or heart problems, or have you ever had a heart attack?
The more times you answered yes, the greater your chances are of having a heart attack. But even if all of your answers were no, you should still learn the heart attack warning signs. Some heart attacks occur in people who have no risk factors. Also, with your knowledge, you may be able to save someone else's life someday.
I'd also like to add that women have heart attacks too. On average, we tend to have heart attacks about 10 years later than men do, but heart disease is still the #1 killer of women and men in all ethnic groups.
People say that it's like an elephant on top of you, and you want to get it off. It's a desperation pain.
Most heart attacks involve some type of discomfort in the center of the chest. It can feel like pressure, squeezing, or pain.
My breath was so short I couldn't breathe.
Some people find it hard to breathe. This feeling often comes with the chest discomfort, but also can come before it.
I had pain in both my upper arms that radiated down towards the elbow from the shoulder. And it was an aching pain as opposed to a sharp pain.
Discomfort can also occur in the jaw, neck, arms, shoulders, or back.
I was dizzy and I was nauseous and I felt really weak.
Some people having a heart attack also feel sick to their stomach, break out in a cold sweat, or feel weak, lightheaded, or faint.
If you or someone you're with has chest discomfort, especially with any of the other warning signs, don't wait longer than 15 minutes before getting help. Call 911 or get to a hospital right away.
You can take some steps now to prepare for the possibility that someday you may be faced with a heart attack emergency, yours or someone else's. First, learn the warning signs of a heart attack and share them with those close to you.
And let everyone know the 15-minute rule. If someone has chest discomfort, especially with one or more of the other signs, don't wait longer than 15 minutes before getting help. Call 911 or get to a hospital fast.
You can also decide ahead of time how you would get to the hospital. Remember that calling 911 is usually the fastest way. In fact, it's like bringing the hospital to you, because life-saving treatment can begin as soon as the emergency team arrives. If you're very close to the hospital, or you live in a rural area without 911 service, then going by car may be your best choice. If you are the one having heart attack warning signs, do not drive yourself.
I know it's not exactly fun to talk about these things, and it may even seem a bit scary, but having a plan for what you'd do if faced with a heart attack emergency can give you and those you love peace of mind.
It also can help you stay calm and move quickly and with certainty should you ever be faced with a heart attack emergency. Oh, and one more thing. Remember I asked you to check your watches at the start of this program? Oh, well, it's time to check them again. It's been about 15 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. And if you'd started feeling the warning signs of a heart attack at the beginning of this videotape, then right about now, if you haven't already, you should be picking up the phone to dial 911 or asking someone to drive you to the hospital. Plenty of people just like you are alive today because they knew that every single minute counts.
I'm glad I was able to respond very quickly because of the fact that, you only have one mother. I thank God that I was able to keep a clear head and to think quickly and decisively.
I was beginning a heart attack, but by me responding and calling so quickly, my heart wasn't damaged. I feel fine. I feel better than I've felt in years.
I really think that looking back, that calling 911 was the beginning of a whole new life for Kurt, because in essence, they saved his life. I can't imagine anybody, when 911's there, not making use of it.
With regard to heart attacks, we know that you have to do it within minutes, get to taking care of it within minutes.
You have to do whatever you have to do. You have to take the initiative, call 911, get the paramedics out there, get the person ready to go. Just do it.